back to our regularly scheduled programming on take 3. Regularly scheduled programming. No one asked us post-game show. Illini pick up a 73-44 dub over Syracuse in the final Big Ten ACC Challenge game of Illinois' time in the Challenge, because the Challenge is going away after this season. Illinois moved to, 5-1 now? Is the record on here? 6-1? 6-1 maybe.
6-1. Yeah.
6-1 on the season. Big win. We're going to recap it. That's Logan Lee. I'm Craig Choate. Follow us on all our social media channels. They are on the screen in front of you on YouTube, in the description, anywhere you're listening. I'll read them off quickly here. At No One Asked Us Pod on Twitter. At Craig W. Choate. At the Logan Lee. Facebook. No One Asked Us Pod on Facebook and Instagram. We're all over the place. Check the description wherever you're listening, and you can find us and give us a follow and like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the button right below me. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yeah, let's get into it. 73-44. It's going to be a quick one tonight because it wasn't... it's a little delayed, first of all, because I was on the road. So it's about 30 minutes after game time-ish. Normally we go about 5 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour after the game ended. So it's going to be quick. Coleman Hawkins, triple-double. We'll just start with that. Triple-double. The fifth one in Illini history, fourth player to pull it off, joining, I just saw it and I lost it. Ayo did it twice, Sergio McClain, and Mark Smith. Those are the 4 players, and now Coleman Hawkins joins that group. He had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists in 35 minutes. Quite the turnaround from Friday night. We did our normal weekly show yesterday, and we harped on 0 points for him, 6 turnovers for him Friday night, and he comes out and does this. Thought he was fantastic. Played the middle of the zone, played it really well, got the assists and the rebounds, and played great. What did you think, Logan?
He is turning himself into be quite a player. I think I saw somebody else mention it. I think it's probably Jeremy Werner. But he looked like an NBA prospect on the floor tonight.
Yeah.
From the moment that game started. And I know we've been a little critical of him at times. He didn't even score a point, I don't think, against.
Would you say he
Lindenwood.
gets the most criticism of anyone on the roster?
Well, no, I think there's somebody that gets a little bit more than him, but I think he's probably second. And I think that's mostly because he's the lone returning guy that played significant minutes on this team at all.
Yeah.
All things considered, it is that's what we got. This is the guy that we knew we were getting back. You have to take into consideration too the comments he made over the offseason about the team and about his role and things like that. Yeah, I think he has, but I think that he has shown that he is a versatile player. He didn't score a single point against Lindenwood, but he was important in a lot of different other ways in that game. And he just showed tonight, like he is a true NBA prospect. I just saw the Athletic posted earlier this week their updated NBA draft big board. Both him and Terrence Shannon were top 25, 27, 30 picks.
Top 30,
like
I think. Yeah. Yep.
And it makes sense. He can do a lot of different things. And tonight was just an example of what he's able to do. So even on the nights that he doesn't score 17 points or 15 points, he can still do a lot of different things on the court. And he's turning into be quite a player, quite a prospect. Somebody that we knew the talent was there, but we just hadn't really seen it yet. Even last year, he kind of was impressive early when Kofi wasn't on the court, and then he kind of went MIA for several weeks during the middle of that season. And it really wasn't until the end of the year that he kind of started to find his groove again. And I mean, now you need him. I mean, he is one of your 2 best players on this team. And, while there are other guys that can help carry the load at times, like they did tonight, he's got to continue to be one of the guys, and he really was tonight. He was the guy on the court for the Illini.
Yep, running through the other stats, Terrence Shannon led scoring, actually, with 17 points. He also had 7 rebounds. RJ Melendez, 15 points, 6 rebounds. Matthew Meyer, 5 points, 8 rebounds. Sky Clark had 2. Jaden Epps had 11 points, 8 early points, and then only 3 from then on out. Ty Rogers with 4. Dane Danger only with 3. And Connor Servant did make a free throw, 1 free throw. Illinois took 39 3-point field goals tonight, 11 of 39 from 3. We talked on that yesterday in our show. The way to beat a zone is to shoot your way out of a zone, and Illinois does not shoot the ball well. Luckily, they did a lot of other things well to come out with a 29-point win. But those are the quick stats here. There was one other note that Brad said in the post game on radio that there's a bit of an illness going through the locker room. He said Dane Danger hasn't practiced the last 4 days. Coleman Hawkins had it. Several other guys had it. So don't know what the deal is there, but a little bit of an illness there.
Something sweeping Central Illinois right now.
Oh, really?
For what it's worth, I know all of Oakwood has had influenza. Like it's bad. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I mean, it is that time of year where this stuff happens. But I do know that area in particular has something flying around. So that doesn't shock me that there's something going around that locker room too.
And a milestone tonight, Brad Underwood, win number 100 as the Illini leader, head coach. I think I saw the list of other coaches. Bruce is on there, Lou Henson, Lon
Harry
Kruger,
Combs, Lou Henson, Bruce Weber, Doug Mills, and Craig Ruby.
Yeah, no John Gross.
Oh, no.
So yeah, good for that's in his 6th year. So what is that? I don't know what that comes out to, but yeah, it's hopefully he wins multiple 100 more. But yeah, moving on to the key 3. Coleman is our number 1. I mean, we already touched on it, but 4th Illini player with a triple-double. Don't know how much more we have to say on it, but that was the game. I thought the zone scared me. The line for this game was like 13, I think. I didn't have a play because I was concerned. I didn't know how they would handle the zone. But they had Coleman in the middle there, right at the free throw line. And it was perfect. He got the ball whenever he wanted. They didn't really deny the ball from him. And when he did turn, he made good decisions. There were a couple times where I don't even think he was looking at the basket. He just grabbed it and threw it up there.
Yep.
Made a couple of them, missed a couple of them. But I thought they attacked the zone just about as good as you could.
Yeah, without
shooting it well.
I don't think it scared me or it worried me, but I definitely knew it was going to be a different type of challenge that this team hasn't really seen much of. And I was pleasantly surprised. The first half was kind of so-so, but they really kind of got it going in the second half, and they really figured it out. But yeah, it worked really well with Coleman there. Usually how you get out of the zone is you make a lot of threes, and we'll talk on that a little bit later. But that wasn't really how they did it. It was a lot of other things. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how well they were able to handle that. Just because you don't really see it very often.
Yeah, and Coleman was a huge key. I thought he played an all-around pretty outstanding game. I introduced the analytics page to our listeners, and to you in one of our first couple post-game shows. His analytics here for efficiency, which is the one that totals up all the good and subtracts all the bad. So points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, minus missed shots and turnovers. Coleman had 28 efficiency. Anything in double digits, I've kind of just figured out is pretty good. He had 28. Melendez had 20. Terrence Shannon had 14. Meyer was at 11 for efficiency. So did he have any turnovers tonight? He had 2 turnovers.
Yeah,
2 turnovers and 1 foul. Just, I don't think you can ask for much more. Surprisingly, his plus minus was only +6. But I thought he played good.
That was surprising when I did notice that. A lot of good plus minus scores, but yeah, his was not particularly one of them, despite him being clearly the best guy on the court.
Second key three here was, I thought, rebounding. Illinois out rebounded Syracuse 46-42, grabbed 17 offensive rebounds. Didn't score a lot, didn't have many second chance points. But I think that rebounding against the zone can be tough. And rebounding while you're in the zone can be tougher. So that's probably why Illinois got 17. But offensive rebounds, a lot about effort. And I think when you get 17 offensive rebounds, that just shows that you want it. And you're attacking the offensive glass, trying to get those putbacks. So I was really, really pleased with the rebounding effort tonight against I think a bigger Syracuse team. I really liked their center. Forgot his name. Edwards, is that his name?
Yeah, he was
Jesse Edwards. I really like. He had 17 rebounds himself.
He was
I really
a problem.
liked the way he played. Yeah,
he was a problem. Yeah, I mean the as you said, the rebounding was great. Terrence Shannon had 5 offensive rebounds alone.
Yeah.
He was really him and Coleman just do a lot of good things. And the way he was attacking the board especially was nice to see, because sometimes the shots aren't always falling, but if they can attack the boards like that, it'll really help you go a long way. And as you said, it's a lot of effort.
Yeah. Defense also, number 3 here for us. Defense. Man, this defense is a problem. We use that a lot now. Problem is like the hot button word. This is a problem, or he's a problem. Defense is so good. They can shut you down. They can cause chaos, coordinated chaos, like I've been calling this team. But I thought the defense was great. 17 Syracuse turnovers. Illinois scored 18 points off those turnovers, and Syracuse only shot 28% from the field. I just had it pulled up, and then I went to watch the Virginia-Michigan game. Syracuse isn't a low-scoring team by any means. They've been averaging about 70-ish points a game. This was their 7th game, I believe. They scored 90, 80, 76, 74, 69, 72. So they've been right around 70, only one game less than 70, and they scored 44 tonight. And I think Illinois caused a lot of that.
Yeah.
Full court press from the jump. First defensive possession, Coleman Hawkins is guarding the inbounder, basically, after a made basket, and they didn't let up. And I think it really sped up that freshman guard, Mintz, for Syracuse.
Yeah, it's not a particularly strong Syracuse team.
No, they're bad.
There was a point in the first half where I kind of thought to myself, let me back up. When we first found out that this was the game that Illinois was getting in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, I think we were both a little confused because...
Well, I know why it was this way.
Well, we didn't know what Illinois' roster was going to look like. Exactly. By the time this schedule was created. But then when we got it, we're like, okay, I don't know that Syracuse is going to be all that good. But there was a point in the first half of this game where I thought to myself, I'm kind of glad Illinois got Syracuse, because I think there's a handful of ACC teams that would have really outplayed Illinois. But that was not the same Illinois team that played in the second half of this game. So I don't necessarily feel that way now. But I did kind of think about that around about halftime. I thought if this was a few different ACC teams, I'm not sure this would be the same outcome. But the way Illinois played in the second half, defense especially, as you're talking about, was just absolutely lights out. Like Syracuse had nothing. They had no answers.
Yeah. The Syracuse is not good. They're not a tournament team. I don't even know if they'll finish above 500. They'll be bottom of the ACC. They're not good. Who was your everyday guy of the game?
Well, I mean, we've already talked about Coleman a lot. So he's obviously the player of the game, but I'll kind of switch gears here. Jaden Epps. I mean, again, he just does a lot of good things. 11 points from him, 23 plus minus, which was the second highest on the team. For what it's worth, he made 3 threes. One of the only guys that could actually hit a 3-pointer this game. Yeah. The kid just does a lot. He does a lot on the court. Can do a lot for this team. I mean, it was just nice to see him in action. Obviously, Coleman was the player of the game, but have to give some props to him. And just another shout out. I know who you're going to talk about, and we'll let you do that. But Matthew Meyer, 5 points, 8 boards, 2 assists. It's not awful. It's a role player. He's a role player.
Yeah.
He's a role player, but I'll take it. Honestly, I'll take it. You want to see more, and you have to hope that at some point he can break out and give you more. But I mean, hits a couple more buckets, he almost has a double-double. So for what it's worth, you want to see more out of him. But I mean, at this point, it's more than what we have seen. So I'm okay with it right now. But it's easy to say because Illinois also won this game by 31 points.
Exactly.
29 points.
I'm okay with it right now. He needs to give me 4 or 5 12.8 rebound games in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I need
they're
it.
Gonna need him. They're absolutely gonna need him.
He's a guy that you need him to be himself in late game so you can put him in and you can trust him. And he won't be I'm trying to think of an example of just a body. He won't be just another body out there to where it's 5-on-4.
Yeah.
You got to have a late game 5-on-5.
I agree.
My everyday guy is RJ. He's kind of been climbing here. He started off really bad, and I think he's put 3 really good games together. I know he had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 15 plus minus, plus 15 plus minus. 4 of those points were the free throws from the 2 technicals from the guy late. But I think it was right after that. It might have been before. I don't know. He just kind of floated a 3, and as soon as it left his hands, he knew it was in. And you can just see the confidence kind of coming back in RJ. Yeah. And I like what I'm seeing right now. I like the direction he's heading. He is kind of, and I don't know if this is the right way to say it. He is kind of turning into what I wanted Matthew Meyer to be. I think they're kind of a similar player, so I don't know that that's really that much of a take or the right thought, but I just like the way he's playing right before a tough stretch of games here. Get some confidence in RJ.
I have a question that is unrelated to what we're talking about, but it's something that I just thought about, and it just kind of got me thinking. I've seen it pop up a couple times where there was a point where Brad Underwood was quoted by saying that Luke Goody was going to be a starter on this team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whose spot was that? Was that Skype's spot?
I think he's just saying that because he can, and no one can really prove wrong.
Okay.
I think he might be trying to boost Goody's confidence when he comes back. I don't think there's any merit to that. I don't think he knew who his starters were going to be when Goody got hurt. He might have been playing starter minutes. I don't know. I think he's just saying that because he can, and no one can say otherwise.
Okay, fair enough.
One of those things that Brad does.
Fair enough. That just the RJ thing got me thinking about that because it'll be nice to get him back, just to have another body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just curious. All right, move on.
Good and the bad. Good and the bad. Good for you.
Okay, so a couple things here. First off, you already mentioned the Brad Underwood thing, but 100 wins. Shout out Brad Underwood. Like, that's just fantastic.
Yep.
There was a point in the first half of this game where the 5 players on the court were Sky Clark, Jaden Epps, Sincere Harris, Ty Rogers, and Dane Danger. That is essentially 5 freshmen. I know Danger's considered a sophomore, but he's played like 3 games before he stepped foot in Champaign. So he's a freshman. At one time, those were the 5 guys on the court. Now, I'm not saying that particular lineup did very well at the time. I really appreciate that Brad is trusting his freshmen. And it's something that we haven't seen a ton of in the past. I know Brad's gotten some criticism in the past for playing time of freshmen. And I also know that he doesn't have a lot of choices because this team is particularly full of them. But that was just something that stuck out to me. It was just kind of a moment where I thought, wow, like this is not something you would normally see in this kind of a game. It was early. It was early in a Big Ten ACC Challenge game against Syracuse, who, as we said, is not a great team, but it's a good program. It was just it was nice to see that in action. as I said, I know Brad's gotten some flack in the past about, minutes that RJ Melendez has or hasn't played, and Luke Goody has or hasn't played, and other freshmen the past few years. So I'm just really liking how much he's trusting this group. It's a particularly strong group of freshmen, but just seeing them on the floor together was kind of a nice little thing. Just to know that he trusts them, and I think that's great because you're going to need that as you get look further into the season.
Yeah, that's not the first time that lineup has been on.
No,
the floor
it's
either.
not.
We talked about that.
It's not, but it just kind of it sticks out to me because it's not something we're used to, and it's nice to see it.
Speaking of the freshmen, we haven't touched on this yet. Sincere Harris only played 4 minutes, left with had to be an injury. Brad just addressed it a little bit ago in his post game. He's in a good place. Injury's not serious. We'll need him on Friday. Yeah. So doesn't sound like, as of now, any missed time. But Brad says that a lot, and then they miss 2 or 3 games as a precaution or whatever.
He got hurt, and then he hopped right up and got the block.
Yeah.
Did you notice this?
It looked like a clean block, but they called a foul.
I mean, that's just kind of the player he is. That's just this group. It's just a good group of freshmen, I think. And I think we're going to continue to see that. But yeah, they'll need him on the court because they don't have a lot of depth after him.
Yep.
My bad.
With your bad.
The 3-point shooting was abysmal. They hit 11 3-pointers tonight. 11. They shot 39.
39.
Greg, I'm going to drop a stat on you. Little factoid.
Oh, here it is. You told me about this pre-show.
They took 39 3-point attempts tonight. Do you know what the school record is for 3-point attempts in a game?
40.
And do you know when they did that?
2005.
The national championship game. The national championship game, 2005. They took 43 pointers. Tonight they shot 39 of them.
Wow.
Hitting 11 3-pointers would be great. That'd be
how many did they make in that national championship game? I bet it's more than 11.
It was more than 11. It was like 14, 12. Only 12.
Wow.
12 for 40 in the national championship game. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's why we lost.
Yeah, clearly. Yep. That, and yeah, that's why they lost. Yeah. Normally 11 threes would be a fine night, but you took 39 shots to get there. Holy smokes, man.
Wow.
This team struggles to shoot. And I know we'll talk about the free throws too, but good golly, man.
Yeah.
There's I mean, we knew there wasn't there's no dead eye shooter. There's no Alfonso Plummer, Trent Frazier, Jacob Grandison on this team. We know that. But like, my goodness, just going over some of these numbers. Terrence Shannon hit 5. It took him 15 shots to get there, but he hit 5. Let's see who else. Jaden Epps was 3 for 6. RJ was 2 for 5. Coleman was 1 for 2. Matthew Meyer, 0 for 3. Sky Clark, a name who we haven't really mentioned tonight, 0 for 7 from 3. He was 0 for 10 from the field. Yikes. That's not what you want.
Freshman night from Sky.
Yeah, freshman night from Sky for sure. But yeah, the 3-point shooting tonight was abysmal. I mean, granted, they made 11 of them. Good for them. But like, good Lord. Shot at 39 to get there.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, that's what the zone leaves open is the 3. We talked about it.
It does.
And so I'm not too concerned about it. They'll not shoot 39 threes again in a game, so I'm not too worried. My good was a halftime adjustments. This game was a lot closer in the first half, and then the coaches figured something out, and I wanted to tweet something about it, but I didn't know how to do it, and I was on the drive, so I was watching on my phone while Christy was driving. And you can't screen record on YouTube TV and whatever. So what they did was they had Coleman at the free throw line, high post, and 2 guards up top. And whatever guard didn't get Coleman the feed into the post, the other guard would go down the wing, and Coleman would turn, and that guard would beat the top defender of the zone to almost the corner. Not quite the corner. Kind of the free throw line extended 3-pointer. They got multiple threes from that. I know Terrence hit 2 or 3 early in the second half, and that's when it got to a 12, 15-point game. And I wonder how many assists Coleman had in the second half.
I can tell you
5. So he had 5 in each half.
5.
But it seemed like he had more in the second half. I thought he played a lot better in the second half. So halftime adjustments to the zone, I thought were superb tonight by the coaching staff and by the players.
Did you mention the thing from Illini Stats about the forced turnover thing? Did you see that?
I didn't see it.
The Illinois forced more turnovers in the second half, 11, than field goals allowed, 7.
Wow. So Syracuse had 7 field goals in the second half, and they turned the ball over 11 times.
Correct.
Wow. That's back to our defensive key there.
Mm-hmm.
Thought the defense played great. Bad for me, you touched on it, was the free throws. Looking at the final box score, it doesn't look terrible. 14 of 22. But at one point, they were 1 of 7. And then Melendez hit all 4 of the technical free throws. At that point, Terrence Shannon hit 2 in a row. So it got better from there. But to go along with your 3-point shooting, free throw shooting is just atrocious right now for the most part from this team. I don't know why. That's the easiest shot in basketball. No one's guarding you. That's why they're free.
Maybe they're not free. Maybe they're not free.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. There was one more thing that I was going to mention that I saw, but I can't remember. Okay, so next up is Maryland. A ranked Maryland team that I don't think anybody expected to be ranked.
I'm not exactly sure why they're ranked, if I'm being honest. I mean, I know they haven't lost a game, so that's something, but I think we talked about it in our show on Monday. They haven't played anybody.
Nobody.
Like their games this year. Let me pull it up here again. They have played. They are 7-0. They have beaten Niagara, Western Carolina, Binghamton, St. Louis, Miami, Coppin State, and now their win tonight over an absolutely abysmal Louisville team. Not taking anything away from their 7 wins, 7-0. That's a great start to your season. Maybe they are the 22nd best team in the country. I have no idea. They haven't played anybody. They have a worse schedule than Alabama. Oh, sorry. It's just I don't know. I mean, Illinois could go in there and lose by 20, and it wouldn't necessarily shock me. But they haven't played anybody.
KenPom rankings here: Niagara 234, Western Carolina 275, Binghamton 284, Coppin State 285, Louisville 184. They're 2 good wins. Miami, Florida 44, St. Louis 42. They beat Miami by 18, and they beat St. Louis by 28.
Great.
So those are their only 2 wins. They were on neutral court in Florida, I believe, is where their MTE was. But yeah, it's on the road. First Big Ten test on the road. 7 new players. It's gonna be a test
for
to
sure.
say the least.
I'm
gonna
not
be a test to say the least.
Maryland
will be favored.
What I just said had nothing to do with the competition. It was just more of a general. I'm not exactly sure why they're ranked 22nd in the country. But yeah, no, I agree. It will definitely be the first real road test this team have seen. And
KenPom has it as a 3-point Maryland win, 74-71. So expect the line to be about 3, 2.5, 3, 3.5, something like that. What are you expecting? What are your thoughts?
It's hard to really know what to expect. This team has, I don't want to say totally surprised me, but this team has been, I would say, a little better than I've expected just at the beginning of the season. I think when I kind of made a prediction at the beginning of the year, I said you want to start your non-con with, no more than maybe 3 losses. Right now, they still only have 1. I know that Maryland's not going to be a non-con, and they still have Texas coming up. But, I mean, I would love to obviously go on the road and get a W, and I think this team has the talent to. But we'll just have to see. As you said, they're still trying to figure some things out. There's still a lot of freshmen here. These freshmen that haven't really played a true road game at the college level. So it'll be a good place to do it and see if they can pull it off.
Jameer Young, transfer from Charlotte, is kind of leading Maryland right now. Dante Scott still there. Julian Reese, big man, and Ian Martinez are their top four. This starts a tough stretch for Maryland. They have Illinois, Wisconsin, Tennessee, and UCLA. So their next four are huge games for the Terrapins. That is 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, Friday night, Big Ten Network. Yeah, should be a good one. Don't know our plans of yet, but we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling for post-game shows. We'll try to bring something to you on Friday night. Anything else?
I never know our plans.
Nope, especially now.
You tell me.
Holidays.
You tell me minutes in advance what I'm doing. No, I feel like I had something else I was going to mention, but clearly it's past me. So moving on.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.